everyone, welcome to Crafty Friday. Some of you may have been hearing a lot about these shoes that I painted recently. In this video, I'm going to teach everyone, each and every one of you, how to paint your own pair if you want to. They're ombre with leopard spots and more ombre in the back. Ready, set, let's get to it. First, you'll of course want a white canvas pair of sneakers. I got both of my pairs from Target and they're just plain white. They were $15, which is quite affordable, but you may be able to get some for cheaper at Walmart. And if you want better quality, you can of course get those at a shoe store. You're going to take off all of the tags and then you're going to remove the shoelaces. Then create a work area for yourself by putting down some paper towel or newspaper or plastic bags. And then I'm also putting down a box lid to paint my shoes on, and then the other half of that box I'm going to use to put my dyed shoelaces on. I'm going to use up some dye that I had left over the last time I painted shoes before I show you how to mix new. This step gets really messy, so you might want to put on a throwaway glove. Just dunk the shoelaces into the dye and maybe leave them in there for a couple of minutes to absorb it a little bit. Then take them out and lay them across the paper towels. Make sure you don't overlap any part of them because this will allow them to dry more quickly. Fill 2 containers with really hot water. You're going to add the liquid dye to the one with less because you don't need a whole lot of dye to cover these shoes. And I usually mix it with the end of a paintbrush. The more dye you pour in the water, the darker your shoes will be. You can kind of test it on the side of the glass to see how saturated your dye is. I might put a little more. I'm going to start by painting the back of my shoe. If you're worried about the rubber getting ruined, you can tape it off, but I've noticed that the dye doesn't actually stain the rubber if you wipe it off soon enough. You want this very back part to be the darkest, and then it's going to ombre into a lighter color. If you don't like ombre, then don't worry about shading it. Just paint on the same amount everywhere. The plain water will help you make your gradient effect. You're going to wipe it from the darkest part of the dye over a little bit to form a little bit lighter of an area. And do this on both sides of the dark stripe. You're also going to introduce a little bit more dye to make the gradient look more realistic. So I repeated this step on the other shoe. I also like to color this little border, as you can tell right here. So you can add a little bit of dye in the middle, and then just use water for the rest to make it expand. You won't see this happen right away, but over the drying process you'll see the results. Now for the front of the shoes. There is another method to making the ombre effect. You get your plain water and just paint the entire section that you want to cover with dye. The liquid dye is attracted to water, so be sure to stop wherever you don't want the dye to expand. You're still going to put on the most amount of dye in the front and lessen it up as you move on to the back, but you'll see that it spreads more quickly. Now you're going to paint this entire white part of the shoe a solid paint color, or whatever design you would like. I used acrylic paint and it seems to be holding well, but you could also use fabric paint if you're worried about this paint coming off. I'm going to mix a very light gray with my paint. Paint this solid color anywhere you see the white fabric. You'll of course want to paint both shoes and on both sides, so I'm still working on these. And don't forget to paint the tongue, that's really important too. Once those are all painted, you're going to mix a slightly darker gray. Use this newly mixed color to scatter small polka dots all over the gray part of your shoes. Your shoes should look something like this at this point. Finally, I mixed a rather dark shade of gray. You'll want to start by putting this paint around every single dot and then filling in all the blank spaces with just regular dots or little blobs of this dark paint, so you can kind of see what I'm doing here on camera. Sometimes I put two darker blobs on either side of the medium gray dot. Sometimes I wrap around like maybe 3/4 of the dot with the dark paint. You don't want it to look perfect, so don't try to make completely straight lines. Lace them up however you'd like. Now you're ready to pair these with whatever outfit fits your style so you can show these off to the world. Last week on Crafty Friday, I showed you guys how to draw your very own kaleidoscope design. A ton of viewers sent in their own versions of this kaleidoscope colorful design, and they are so awesome. So here you're seeing pictures that were sent to me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So if you would like to be featured in an upcoming Crafty Friday video, use hashtag SoCraftastic on Instagram, or leave me a picture on my Facebook fan page, or tweet me a picture on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do so, because I put out new crafty videos every single Friday for Crafty Friday, and I put out other videos throughout the week as well. Bye! If you want to see an outfit of the day video that I filmed while wearing these awesome shoes, then just check out my Sarah Lynn Fashion channel, which is my fashion/beauty channel for those of you who don't know. There's a motorcycle outside. Ooh, I just got my bracelet stuck to a strand of hair. Look at that. It's seriously stuck, come on. Ah, I ripped it. I ripped it in half. Way to go. Please subscribe channel. I can't talk. Bye, motorcycle. Bye, Spider-Man.